Ooh, y'all, sorry. All right. The underground. Oh, the underground. All right. Now, y'all, I really need to talk about tonight's episode so that I don't, you know, forget anything or leave anything out. So if it's bits and pieces of the other one, you know what I'm saying, then I say so be it. But right now I want to talk about this one and whatever else happens. Okay. Hopefully y'all with me on that and we can move forward. Now tonight was festive and it definitely was reminiscent of a lot of things that we've already discussed, I've already said as it pertains to the bondage that my ancestors and my people were put into. We've seen a whole lot of things go down tonight that began and came the beginning of, as with the underground, it is the beginning of freedom. A whole lot of things took place tonight. So let me see, where do I want to go to? And I don't want to go in any order because y'all know that's just usually not my get down. I go where I feel it at. And so for some reason I want to start with Steen. Because as we watch Steen do what she does, and we know that she tried to kill herself and this, that, and the third. But Steen is definitely going through something. This is an undertaking that she's going through. This is the trial of her life. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the demons of her own past and then demons that were put upon her. And no choice of her own. So Steen done lived through this and she's feeling some kind of way now. The first thing that showed this ugly ass head tonight was this. Was just when I thought the gully, loving the pieces, honey. I've been learning about them. But what I heard tonight in this episode, as they were questioning her, because there was a point that were questioning her about, why she did it. And then in some ways, it seemed to me like they were questioning her about, did she give, the poison to the girl to have the abortion or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Questioning her. And she's not buying it, and they raking her over the coals and she ain't changing nothing. And, and he's saying, and we and I, and how they speak, we the people, let's just say it now and get it out so we can be together and watch out this, that, and the third. And as he's questioning and they going through it and the rest of them is, feeling almighty. I said, well, isn't this reminiscent of what the whites only past taught the black folks about Christianity? Because we know from last season with Beelzebub and the rest of them that that was another way for them to put a toehold on them. In the sense of, yeah, I'm beating you, whipping you, this, that, and the third, but I'm going to share with you the good book. And I'm going to at least have you wanting and yearning and hoping that you will be released from this. And if you sing enough Negro spirituals and if you make enough songs that are still living and thriving in this day, then maybe you will make it over. Which in some ways, the intent was never for them to embrace spirituality the way black folks did, because that's always been a thing that we've always held on to. No matter what the hell is going on, we have always cleaved to the thought of, a better day is coming. Though he slay me, yet will I still trust him. Trouble's behind me. I'm going to lay down and wake up and see something new. Nothing that they really wanted them to have. You know what I mean? It was really used as a weapon against them. But in the midst of that, they found other solace in them. Now, when I say weapon, and when I say that, I mean that if I fill your cup and I empty your shit out your cup, then I can fill it up with mine. Then I can make you forget about whatever you praise spiritually or whatever. Whatever you knew in your spiritual life or whatever y'all had there, I can remove it. So I'm going to give this to you. And not only am I going to give it to you, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to also let you know that even though the story tells, and when you go all through the Bible, it speaks of Egypt, and then we know Africa and all of that. But I'm still going to tell you that he had blonde hair and blue eyes. Now, you might have had a better chance at saying that he had that if you said that he was Egyptian. I don't know how they cooked the books on that. But again, as I empty your cup, I'm going to empty your stuff out and get that out. You don't need that, honey. Now I own you. You got to do what I do. Ain't no one or two ways about that. But there's some hope in here if you niggas can look to white Jesus and his blonde hair and blue eyes and things of this nature. I know it says copper and bronze skin and hair of wool. That you know, that was when King James had, you know, that no, we're not doing that. That's the one part that we don't, you know, accept or whatever. So I'm watching them, and I'm watching them tell him and wheeze and this, that, and the third, and I'm watching them do what you see them do in the Christian church. Now, what you see us on the cusp of what's really going on now, even with misogyny and this, that, and the third, because, but there was a bit of misogyny. Now, here's the thing, though. As the man, as he's saying, and all this, that, and the third, and they all looking to, and they done already prejudged the other girl. You know, they already said, we ain't going to make the man accountable for nothing he did because she shouldn't unlock them needs. You know, let's hang up a few bottles or whatever, but we mean to know. And we want you to say you dirty, low down, and you shouldn't have never did it, and us going to take you. Y'all was so livid watching that part, I didn't know what to do with myself. As their cup gets empty. But remember, the gully people, they remembered a lot of their shit. And I thought to myself, are you fucking kidding me? This looks too familiar. So they are intertwined. And of course, they were bogged down, even though they remembered what they knew from then. But honey, they forgetting a whole lot of it, because some of what they was doing, honey, shook me to my knees. It was too much like the white evangelicals, baby. It was too much like the church building folks for me. But as they asked her, and she never really gave in, but she kind of let them know in a sense, well, you know, basically, you ain't shit to me. This ain't, you know, us. We use, you know, no, not by doing this to me. You know, so you see Steen going through this thing. And once she, you know, she done been brought out the water, baby. And, you know, then got a second chance or whatever. The death whispers and the things of her past have walked her down. And walked her in and wasn't going to be satisfied until she laid herself down. But really and truthfully, that was the opiate or whatever, and also the guilt of what happened. You know, y'all, damn, medicine got my stomach just, ugh. Anyway, so I ain't going to fart or nothing while I'm doing this. Now I might belch. I'm going to just be clear on that, okay? Anyway, so Steen's going through her shit. And realizing, and you see, once she wakes up, you see the light come on for her. Now, in the midst of this, you have the young lady who she gave the stuff to, who lost the baby and bled out and all of that, come to her, because as she watched Steen be raked over the coals, she said, that's what they do to me. Even they do that to even my daddy do that to me. You know, all they do, you know, is judge. I said, oh boy. Whew. The motherfucking shackles and chains that are still on us, y'all, baby, is unbelievable. Trust it. Anyway, so she's talking and she want to know, she's like, I want to know how to do and how to be and this, that, and the third. She want to know how to manipulate the man and do what it is that Steen does. I'll be able to motivate like Steen does. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching this go down, and I thought, you know, this is one of those things where Steen would have to be 50-50 on it. Knowing that once she embarks on this, once she embarks on being whites only past concubine, not just who he goes and rapes or whatever, no. That one that is going to seduce him into thinking that he has control, even though he still does. But like I said about Steen, yeah, she was kind of, putting it down on old dude. But at times he showed her just who owned who. But she used whatever power she had to see her children through or to get over. Now this young lady wants to know how to do it, and I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Like, is she thinking in her head, if I don't tell her, he gonna rape her and treat her like the outside girls? And we all know what happens with them. If I don't give her what she needs to know how to motivate, whether that be turn her mind off as they doing what they doing. If I don't give her and help her to motivate, then she's lost and she's going to be just as bad. But if I do give her and I do teach her, she will one day be at the shores that I was at one day. She will carry on and carry one of their babies. She will have an inside baby. She will be at the hands of, and eventually he will marry a whites only pie, that somebody that looks just like him, and treat her like gold. But be also in love with that sweet blackberry juice, honey. And he'll do what little bit he can. Her cabin might be a little bit cleaner. She might have access to a little bit extra food. But she won't be that bitch living in that big house that's loathing her motherfucking ass, and who one day will do to her what the dude's wife did, so Steen. So this is a double-edged sword. And along with that, fighting the demons of what it went on, her children being gone, and knowing what she done by killing and this, that, and the third. So she decides to, tell her. And as she's doing this, old girl's telling her, well, she's making bread pudding. And Steve's like, well, what is that? And she said, bread pudding. And I thought, oh, isn't that something, honey? Seemed like good eatings. Even though they was giving the slaves nothing but trash and garbage. And the entails and shit. And I sometimes wonder, because y'all know hot dogs is made of hooves and boots and beans and whatever the fuck else came off the pig that's left. I would sometimes wonder if it wasn't a black person, an African American that done that. Shit. If you want to have some good food, I say it's two groups of people. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Say what you want to say. Some shit you already know. Black folks, for the most part, gonna know how to pull some shit together and make it taste good. Now, on the other hand, not willing to own up to the fact that they're able to do it, along with saying that it's good and eating the food, they will say, but you also got blood pressure, this, that, and the third. Okay, well, we made do with what we had, with what garbage that you decided to hand over. The other group that I would say would be Italians, because, honey, Lord, it's something so reminiscent about an old Italian grandmother and an old, black mother. You know what I mean? They just, now, no shade, now don't feel no kind of way about it. Shit, that's just in my opinion. Opinions like assholes, bitch, and everybody got them. But anywho, so she done made this bread pudding, and she's telling her, and old girl's talking, and Steen said, come here, and she's telling her some things, and she says, men always want to be able to tell you something, like they learning you something, which is true today, okay? But that is innately in their nature. And she's telling her, and this is a young girl, and the whole while I'm thinking, where is this child's mama? You know what I'm saying? You all right, Booge? Okay. Of course. Sorry y'all heard that. I meant to take this off. Anyway, of course, she's telling her, and she asked about her daughter, and she's saying, giving her the ropes or whatever to how to motivate around a man. And, and it seems like it's pain and Steen to tell her that. But she knows she has to. And as she talks and she tells her what she needs to do, and she said, men like to know that they're teaching you something. You want to act like, they like to know that you're interested in what they're doing. And they want to know that they're teaching you something that you just, also innocent and you don't know. Because that's what they like. Meanwhile, ladies, y'all know the true nature, honey, unless you get one of them evangelical hookers. Them bitches that, don't know nothing about what gonna happen after they get married, Them, they don't discuss vaginas other than you're gonna have a period, don't fuck. Till you get married, they don't even say fuck. That's, you can't be around, And, but for the most part, ladies, y'all know what I'm saying. Oh, really? Is that how? Can you help me get this? Leave it below, ladies, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, ultimately, there are times when we are like, well, yeah, I really don't know. I'm really interested and glad to have your husband or your lover or whatever to teach you something. Just seeing them be, explaining and, showing you things and carrying you through. And there are times when it happens, but there are those other times that you like, really? I didn't know. You knew. But, you know what I'm saying? You got to, a man always wants to feel like a man. So she's telling her all of this. And she said, come here and you asking questions. Let me do your hair. And she's still explaining to her and this, that, and the third. And before you know it, honey, this bread pudding's done. And they gonna take it to the stable because remember, Steen didn't get beat for her transgression. Ain't that some fucked up shit? I'ma beat you, bitch, for trying to kill yourself. You label and coochie if I want it. Ain't that about a bitch? You can't even motherfucking say I'm about to walk into the great beyond. You can't even run away to death. Let's move forward before I get out on the collar. So she goes and Steen says, I just want to say thank you because you didn't have to. You could have had me beaten, you didn't. So I had her to make this sweet thing. And he said, what is it? And she said, it's bread pudding and, and have her to hand it to her. Now, Steen is cooking the books now. It took me a minute. I was kind of hesitant and I'm like, oh, Lord, Steen, what we doing here? So she tells the girl and has her to go up there and, before they come, she's like, I don't like animals and horses, and the dog come, and she's like, let the dog come. So when the dog can't attack her, because she already know that he's peeping at her. And she already told her, honey, you got everything that's needed to get in the bed, but to keep him there. Some, young girls think, oh, well, all I got to have is goody gumdrops and all of these things, honey. No, as you get older and you become a woman, you know what I'm saying, full womanhood, you understand that pussy is not the only thing that brings them to the yard. It will bring them to the yard, but a lot of times it won't keep them in the yard because it's a mini bitch out there with pussy. All right. So Steen says, you want to keep him. So the dog comes after her and then he goes and it's like, he's saving her and she's looking at the horse and she begins to do what Steen tells her and ask questions and he's like, oh, and he talks about a war horse and this, that, and the third and all of that. And she's like, what is that? Steen pushes her on and tells her, lets her go on and sits back and watch, hoping that she's told her enough. So she goes up there and he said, you want to rub it after he talked? And she did. And then, the horse did something and she jumped back and he started laughing. She said, don't use laughing at me. I don't like use to laugh at me or whatever she's saying, And he said, no, you just got to rub it this way. Now, in the midst of him doing that, he has to touch her skin and all of that. Now, you better know. And as that's going on, honey, she hits him off with those beautiful eyes, baby. And he ain't never had no oochie coochie. He ain't had no good yoni, He ain't had a good piece of sister, honey. He ain't been to the mountaintop. He been hovering down in the valleys. But let's move forward. Anyway, so she looks at him and rubs, and then they kind of have a little conversation, and then Steen says, we better get back to the quarters. Don't stay too long. So she turns around, and Steen's like, come on now, you can't stay that long. You got to make him want you. And don't look back. Don't stay that long. Make him want for the next time. Now, later on, after you have his toddy, then you can come back and stay longer. I said, well, Steen, look like you done decided that you gonna turn her on to what's good. You in some way, Steen would have been teaching her, not giving her fish, teaching her how to fish with what she had, sadly enough. So we get out of that, and then there's this point where Steen is in the tub, and old funk ass motherfucking Geechee is playing this music while she's in what looks to me like a milk bath, sitting there in all of her steeniness. Honey, Steen, girl, even when you at your ragliest, girl, y'all Steen just gives sex kitten, she just throws it off, and I'm like, yes, girl. Look cute even when you're down, bitch. Get on, she's in there, one leg cocked. You can't see nothing but the thigh, but you know what's under there. And the tub is facing him, and he's coming in towards the goody gumdrop, the mountaintop. And she's sitting there, and he's singing a song, and she goes, and I'm assuming pouring oil in her water. Keep that skin right, okay? And he says, he's sorry, and he thinks, what was it that I done that made you walk to that water? And I ain't gonna never put my hands on you again. And she said, you ain't never put your hands on me because you don't know me. I thought, well, okay, Lord, the Steen girl cut his ass. Y'all, when she scooted up, I was like, that bitch got something in the water. She gonna be like, shh. And I swear, y'all, that's what I thought. So she sits up and gets out and gets her good rap on it. I'm somewhere now wondering where I can get that same color cloth, honey, and make a wrap dress out of it, bitch, and her head. Sting, they just give me everything. Anyway, so she's talking and she utters what I've already said, that you don't know me. She basically spoke to them pitting us against each other. Them beating you down. You coming in here to beat me. You done picked up their traits. That's what they taught you. This is what they do. This is not of us. And I'm like, okay, Steen's coming to his senses. Because the damn show ain't of us. Now, I ain't saying that there wouldn't have been misogyny and shit and all of that over on the shores where you have man that may be one or two that will put his toe down on a woman and try to slap the fuck out of her. I ain't saying that did not and could not have existed when we were on our own land. All I'm saying is, for the most part, there was really no blurrings of the lines where there would be any disagreement anyway. You know what I'm saying? A queen would be just that. A queen. And all of them were queens. Why? Because they birthed a nation. He's the king. He carries the nation's seed. He builds the nation. And all of that. And I just envision in my head that things went simultaneously, like the tango. You know what I'm saying? Just work together. Not against. Not the shit that they did once we got over here, pit one against the other. Have the black man, the African, loathing the woman because she done laid with and then been fucked by half the motherfuckers. If not, when they decided that they were going to have animals and put them on their backs and make them fuck animals and shit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Whites only pie, baby. Listen, let me tell you something. Caucasus Mountain, Neanderthals, all of that, baby. I'm sorry. This was, and in a whole lot of cases, still is the nature of them. Now, not all. But we, right now, when I talk about this, we are dealing with that. But we are seeing a glimpse of humanity come in as it pertains to white folks, because we see them fighting and going along and sacrificing those few handful, the few. Because I look at it even now, that it is 80 whites only pies and 20 that are decent human beings. And that is just the way I feel about it. I've seen it rear its head too many times. I can smell a motherfucking supremacist even when they don't know they think it. I really can. Just as an example, if you stand your ass in line waiting to enroll in the University of, but you know you've only read one book in your life, but innately because you have the coin or because you have the right shade, you just know you're going to get in. However, I myself might be in a line or somebody else educated to the teeth, have worked hard and 4.0, this, that, and the third, and all of that. Got to struggle, go through committee, be reviewed, go through all of this extra, be extraordinary. Not that I'm not already extraordinary. Not that we not already extraordinary, but you know the extra that they would have us to do. Now you would stand your supremacist ass in there and know that you're going to get in. Still with the motherfucking caveman's mind. Still back on the, still. You would bring your ass down from the hollers, honey, and walk right on in. And in a motherfucking state like mine, bitch, you would get right in there and you would be sitting in the seat next to me after I have strived and worked and this, that, and the third. Do y'all feel me? Another example. Go up for the same motherfucking job. Now, you ain't did shit but know somebody. I better yet be a shade. The other person has worked like a dog, triple masters, working on a doctorate, in their scrounging, trying to get a job that really is beneath them as far as their education. But they will choose your dumb ass and rather do on-the-job training with you when this one comes equipped with more than what they need and really better than what they need. I don't think I need to do any more examples. I just really don't. Okay, so I can smell it. I know it when I motherfucking see it. Now, let's move forward. Moving on along. Now, Steen's talking to this motherfucking Geechee, and he's telling her after she said it's over, and she's telling him all of that. And he said, it's that God. That God done got to you. That young God done got to you. You know, while you're doing this and that and the third, and you know, he begins to start throwing names at her, this, that, and the third, and then pulls out the drugs and holds it up just like the first pimp ever. How you gonna motherfucking turn Steen into a motherfucking hoe of drugs when that bitch already knows what her commodity is? Unfortunately, even though she has so much more than that. But what she has been belittled to, but has learned how to thrive and make it. You watch in that scene the breakdown of how they pit the black woman against the black man. That's what that scene gave you. And Steen all but broke it down. And I thought, well, honey, I've been saying that for a minute now. Almost in the exact same terms. But you watch that happen. So right on that little island, we see how they wanted to shackle black folks and slaves, even after they whipping them and all of that and got them scared. Now you're going to give them drugs and make them lethargic. Hooked on some shit. Because you know one day, the emancipation going to come one day. They going to get wise one day. So if I have them on drugs, then so be it. That's another thing I got as a Toho. I watched that and I thought, ain't that some shit? And just the other day, I was talking about the black man and the black woman. If you haven't watched it, or if you didn't see it in that detail, run it back and get into that scene. Get into that section. Get into that, because that is what we live in right now. Instead of protecting her and seeing about her, he said, I brought you here. In what? The motherfucking drugs and shit. You brought her there and she watched you be less than a man. You know, and maybe he don't know no more than that. This is a hand he was dealt. Once they separated us, once they get us separated, then they put in your cup what they want, and we are pitted against each other. It was the most amazing scene I've ever seen in my life on TV or on the big screen. Just real talk. That was the most truth I've seen in a long time. And it was amazing. I thought, ain't that something? I hope that my community will wise up. I hope that black women will turn back to black men. You date who the fuck you want to date. But how about this? I hope you stop saying if you marry anything out of your, anything other than a black man or whatever. You have the right. You love who you love. But let's don't do it and say you marrying up. You doing better. You still motherfucking shackled down into some shit that you wasn't even there for the conversation. Bitch, you doing some shit that's you lineages in, honey. You doing some old house girl shit. You wasn't even there for the motherfucking breakdown and how they told them and pit them against each other, but yet you still do it today. But to each his own, and you do what you want to do. I guess you don't know, you don't never know who you're going to love and you can't pick and choose. But when you set in a position where they've told you what you ordinately normally would love is low down, dirty, filthy, and ain't worth the breath he got in him, eventually you're going to look at him if your mind is weak. And you're going to think, child, I got to marry up, honey. Give me anything but that. Really? Well, and I do say to each his own, So, Steen done talked this girl and had this conversation. He done dropped the drugs on her and she's trying to fight and get over because as she was teaching the girl, she was getting sick and wanting, addicted to this. And did y'all hear her say opiate? Use this proper term. I said, boy, this was the most amazing scene tonight. Anywho. So, Steen, at one point, just kind of fast forward, she's down at the lake. There's one point when old girl who she didn't talk, then kissed him, and he didn't kiss her so gently, this, that, and the third, and she runs into Steen, and this is at the end, and we are not in any order. And I didn't think Steen would take the drug back. And as it went off, because I want to stay on Steen. As it went off, it was Steen with that rag. So she didn't went back and she said, I did that. And she said, that's nice. Now we got to figure out how you going to use him to get me off this island. I said, okay. Maybe Steen is coming to herself, but she's still sitting there getting high. So I don't know how that's going to work. Moving on along. I don't mean for this to be that long, but I need to talk about the things I need to talk about in this. Okay, let's go to Kato. So he done got this money. He done been over there to Dublin. He's got Irish brothers, that's his friend and all of that. And he's trying to find a way to get back at them. And also fit in and be wanted. Now his excuse is to get back at them. But he wants to fit in and be wanted. Like that girl that he was dating that he left the house to said. My lips are yeah, it's a medicine give me dry mouth and everything. Anywho, now on this one he's cooking up this party, this, that, and the third. And, he wants them to pull it together. Now, the guy that he met while he was over there in Dublin told him as he's pulling this together, this, that, and the third, that I don't want to watch you do this. Why are you doing this? We should be back there. Why do you want to be here? I'm afraid that you tying your own knot, this, that, and the third. And he has his own reason because we know now that there is still some good in it. Because when he had Noah and he let Noah go and had asked him to make that choice, if you willing to go back, I'll let all of them go free. He made sure that Noah got to Roselee where he needed to go, and he also got them their freedom and got them to Canada. And I thought, okay, well, he does have a humanity in him, but I thought, did that come to him and all of this education and the things that he absorbed and things while he was over there, was that due to the young lady that he ran into? Or was these things that he would have liked to have, that he was interested in, even whether it was seeing the master doing? And I said, no, that was something he was already into. Now, some might think that, oh, girl turned him on. She turned him on to the little fight, this, that, and the third, because when you think about it, when they met up and they talked and all of that, and she realized that was his name on that statue, he already knew about it and was talking about it. And then I'll take you back to the first season when Roselee got in his eye as she began to play that music and how he was into that. So this was something that he already had somewhat knowledge of or thirst of. And that also made me think, I just need to know more of his story. Because how does he know that? You get what I'm saying? With that said, how would he have known to go to Dublin or whatever? So many things were spinning in my head. But I knew for sure that Miss Honey Cabbage didn't turn him on to nothing but how to try to be free over there. Oh, Lord. Be free over there. Get some of this anger out. And let's move on. But his knack for wanting those finer things and knowing certain things, he already knew. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, God, I want to know more of his story. Now, he sets his party up, and the dude said he ain't coming. They got the balloons, and you got white and black there, whatever. And this is him, giving money for this cause. And then you got white, black, whatever in there. And this is when they introduced Frederick Douglass. And he was saying... He said the way to get there, capitalism, money. And I thought, ain't that something? I guess you do know something. Because if you want to get them, baby. See, but black folks have not, no matter how many times you say it, no matter who says it. For some reason, there is a blockade or something. It will not let them buy in their own community. They can't. Even if it's the same thing, they will still continue to go and patronize and lift up other communities before their own. Like it, just staying forever. They just will do it. And the farther and the deeper you go in the hood, the more they'll do it. And they know they'll do it. Anything from the Arabs to the Asians to whatever sets up shop and just uses them, and it's just a vicious circle. But if you tell them right up the road, brother so-and-so opened up a store, and it's fuzz back, they won't. They'll say, we can't deal with blacks. Really? Oh, well, it ain't going to be the same. Yes, it is. Nothing you say changes it. And he was right. Get it that money. Clip that money, because see, that is always going to be a toehold over all different kinds of groups. The Irish, in which who said that they were slaves, baby. Again, you was enslaved by that potato famine that the Catholic Church told you that it was, and also some of the royalty over there. And then you ran your ass over here, and the pilgrims and shit was like, bitch, we just got over here. Now, we just done took and killed the Indians and shit. And in Jamestown, we lost 7 of them, and the savages done killed them, even though the savages did not kill them. The Virginia Company, that has set up house in Europe, company that was, there and built, during the monarchy and all of that. They got a hold of them and put them into slavery. Made them be copper in the copper mines. But they decided, well, we can't let them know that we enslave our own. This is long before, you know what I'm saying? Could be possibly long before they even decided it would have been, because we would have been talking about Jamestown. So this is before they brought the first slave over here. That we would be willing to enslave our own. We can't necessarily come to the Americas, and it's not quite formed yet, but they didn't fought to get separate from us, this, that, and the third, or however. But we still got money over there. So what we gonna do is, we ain't gonna let them know that we willing to enslave any motherfucking body for money. We don't give a fuck. Money rules everything, including y'all, class warfare. And a lot of times the average poor white trash, whatever the fuck we're saying, the Neanderthals, any of them, always looked up to the ones that got the money, because the money, you got the money, you got the power. This is what they beat in your head. They empty your cup out. They beat that out of human beings, that if you work an honest job, you get an honest wage, and all that's out the door. So what they did was took the 7 that would have made it 6 males and 1 female. And the reason why they know that this even happened, or that they even existed, was because she was well read and knew how to write, and she would have known how to carve something into the oh God, what's the name of the stone? It evades me, but I will leave it in the comments later when it comes to me. And told them where they were at and look for the trees with the crosses on them. Now I know y'all like, much love, girl. Hi. Do some research, baby. Do some research on Jamestown. And when they came over and shit. And find out about the 7, because the motherfuckers came over here and starved. They fighting the Indians and shit. And the Indians tried to work with them or whatever, give them something. But they ain't wanting to just come over here and share. They ain't wanting to just be guests. They want to own it. Okay. After they teach you how to wash your ass and brush your teeth, because they sick of smelling your fuck ass breath. And after you make them sick with all the motherfucking diseases you brought from the queen. But anywho, so you have that. They put them into slavery. Capitalism begins in full. They was already doing it over in Europe. But over here now this thing started. Now what Kato was getting to was, and I say all that just to kind of share that with y'all, and I told y'all to check up on them Irish, baby. Because, honey, they really got it fucked up in the game. And he realized, he said, capitalism, this is how we're going to get them. Money. And he says he has to say now. And at one point, he looks over, because I ain't talked about that old funky butt ass motherfucking Black Widow bitch. That piece of motherfucking wolf coochie that, Miss Girl. Her and old dude who she the one that got, and he's running around drinking slop and shit out of the cup. The one that that Roselee killed the son or whatever. She the one that got him, because she thinks he's the only one that can track and get Roselee and ultimately get to Harriet. They walk in fully dressed. He locks eyes or whatever. Now, this is after him and Frederick Douglass, and they have this conversation, and they share and talk, and, and Frederick says, I wrote my book, this, that, and the third, but I never wrote about how I got over, basically, how he got out of there. They exchanged words and this, that, and the third, and, had wonderful conversation, And Kato was putting his money out there to try to get this going. Meanwhile, he sees them and he walks over to their motherfucking wolf ass, I guess, And he said, and he starts taunting them, and he was like, well, you need an invitation. She said, we got one. And I thought I would look at that bitch and be like, she cleaned up well. She looked just as motherfucking, the bitch looked straight out the cave, even in that ugly ass dress. I'm sorry, y'all. Every time I see her, I think she stink. Because she fucking that motherfucker on the regular and ain't washing nothing. That dude that she got working for her. But anyway, he tells his friend, the guy comes to him and says, so-and-so is coming from over in England or whatever. He's like, oh, Lord. So he said, get the people out of here, but do it peacefully. They get out, this, that, and the third. And they the last 2 there, and they outside. And I knew instantly when it was said that this brawl was coming. And I'm like, well, why ain't want everybody to leave? Because she coming. Is she going to be mad? You gave her the house, this, that, and the third. Come to find out, some motherfucker been looking for him, honey. They just shot the motherfucker up. I don't know where Kato is, honey. He watched with the knife at his throat and this, that, and the third. He had to give up Roselee, and he said, you want to get Roselee, get her mama. And I'm like, oh, Lord, the Dublin boys then got killed and shit, and they was loyal to him. He done got him killed. They trying to get him not to do it. Anyway, I'm thinking Kato got killed. Now, what y'all think? Because she's like, oh, I like his house. She gonna stay there at the end. And I was like, oh, God. I have never wanted to take a knife and throw it through the screen so bad in my life. And now let me fast. I'm telling y'all, this medicine got me jacked up. My fucking arm hurts. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, damn. Fuck, he didn't get to do what he was going to do. Now, y'all, I'm not going in any order. I'm kind of breaking it down in sections of what I want to talk about. Now, let's go on and get to Roselee. Now, let me have a brief moment with Miss Cookie that I knew was just trying to pass. Miss Honey Cabbage that lives in that house, honey. I knew she was just passing, honey. She was just passing. Okay? She passed the brown paper bag trick. She was trying to live her life as Miss White Goody Goody. Not that, I mean, I'm just saying that's what she was getting. Some man barging her and shit. Roselee's getting better, honey. She's sitting up. She talks to old girl and she's like, why would you do that knowing that you're pregnant, this, that, and the third? And she was like, I have to, my family. She explained that I need my family. I need Noah. I need all of that for this child. That's all the more reason why I left. This child needs Noah, my mama, my brother. So we do so that we can make it. You know, she getting better and she's talking about going back. And y'all, I think she was really pregnant this season. I mean, old girl who's playing her, I think she's pregnant because, honey, that motherfucking nose spread it. I'm like, her ass is really pregnant in real life. You know, congratulations if you was and had the baby. Anyway, so she talks to her about that. But old Miss Honey Cabbage that's passing, the people that come, honey, they done broke in the house. The slaves, and you know, not the slaves, those that were free, you know, that they helped, had to run and get in the shit. Old girls worried about Roselee. So they came there asking for her name. And they were like, we ain't saying nothing. They want her. She decides so that nobody won't get hurt or whatever goes any further, that she would go ahead and go. And she told old girl to go upstairs and look at something. So she goes up there, looks at it and reads and finds out just exactly what's going on and that she's passing. That she's basically black. Well, you know, mixed, you know. Anywho, so she's kind of like, well, talk to me what's going on. And she doesn't want to tell her. And, you know, she's trying to get it where they get out of there and get things going. They kind of got something they're trying to do. That new dude that then came in that's looking at old girl who's the widow, who she was writing and shit saying, you help me, this, that, and the third. I don't know why, y'all, but I just feel like he's a fucking traitor. I don't feel like he's there for the cause for real. I really don't. Babe, give me a cigarette. Where you been? Uh-huh. Because I accidentally bought the wrong one. Anyway. Baby, is the ice pack in the freezer? I'm going to need it for my arm. I'm sorry, y'all. Anywho. So I think he's a traitor because as they had rolled off after, you know, the whole mission, they done got hooked up with the very first, I guess they was the first Klansmen. Y'all see them in them ragged ass brownish hoods? Dirty, stinking, and funky. And shit. They done got her and ripped her dress and said, since you want to be a nigga freer and this, that, and the third, I'm going to brand you like a nigga. Why, nigga? You a nigga yourself because a nigga ain't necessarily a color, fool. And if you look it up, you might find out that it's more reminiscent of you. But let's move forward. So she's like, go ahead. Do it. He kind of gets her back. But did not happen to old dude who was tied up too. Y'all, I'm telling you. And it's just like as they were talking and he was saying Mr. Something before they grabbed him, she was like, and this, that, and the third. And it was like she was coming to an epiphany or whatever. Anyway. They let them loose. They get to go back. We're going to figure out what goes on with little Miss Mix Honey. You know. Anyway. On to Noah and Roselee. Because I was all in my feelings, y'all. Oh, God. Love is everything anyway. But, baby, that black love is one. Oh, God, it's just the most beautiful thing. And I say that and I'm like, am I just feeling guilty today? Because today, the movie came on where Sanaa Lathan was, where they talk about hip-hop. Where she talks about hip-hop. But she's really talking about old dude. And that always makes me think of me and him.
Metaphor.
Right, hip-hop as a metaphor.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
And that always makes me think of me and his relationship.
I like the song. Most Def did it on that one.
Right, but, you know, so I'm already feeling black love-ish. Extreme. Because it does remind me of us, and I think it must remind him too a little bit. Is your face a little swollen today? Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
Whatever.
What the fuck my face gonna be doing swollen?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't.
Okay.
It ain't.
All right.
Shit.
Anyway, so I'm looking and Noah walks in that door, and the way she looked at him and touched him, but she ain't told him that she pregnant. And she says she wants to go back there and get her mother. She's got a plan. She wants to go before Christmas and get back. And Noah has come to, you can see that Noah's in a different spot. And he said it himself. I am a different man, and you are a different person than what we were when we ran.
Yep.
It's a funny thing, you run into freedom thinking it's a destination. But as he said, it is a choice. Things change. Now I have the choice. Now I can make choices for myself. You know what I mean? And he had already made one when he decided that I ain't going back. They asses is going back to where they going. Because I done fought too hard and I'm sorry.
Right. You can't go back.
You know, instead of trying to take a second to see if you can contemplate how y'all can all make it, he was engulfed in the fear of going back and not wanting that.
He went too much. He went through
well,
too
not
much
necessarily. Well, of course, it would have had to been some fear.
Going back would be defeating the purpose.
It would be.
Why would I go back and I went through all of this?
Right, and made it over. Once you make it over.
No sense.
Well, Roselee feels that same way, but she feels
got a
like
reason to go back. He don't.
And he said that. He said, I don't have family, as he talked to the white chick.
No reason to go back.
But she does, and she needs them. Now, she said she wanted to do it and wanting to get him to go. Now, the whole time, and he let her know, all I thought about every day was you. Mm-hmm. Then I thought about where you wanted the house to be as I would make it brick by brick for you. And right, baby. I was like, come on, honey, because that's what it is.
But you know, it ain't get ready to go. Like
baby, I need you to build a brick by brick.
She done got with old girl. She's on that.
But she do want her family.
Yeah, she's gonna do that.
And she's pregnant.
She gonna do it without him because he ain't going back.
Well, I don't know because it didn't seem like that. Now, Noah said, I want to build this house and I made this rain.
But she already got plans. She's on some other tip now.
Now, old girl done talked to him and told him, look, tell her you ain't the same. You don't. She ain't going to go if you don't go. But he's basically saying she need her family. Yeah. She need that, and I don't know that. She's what I know. So that's basically, right. And he don't know that she pregnant. She holding, honey. Then, yeah, she holding, and she ain't told him. What? And that would make him be all the more furious about her. And I wondered, is she going back? Because I thought she's fighting for her child, huh?
Is it his?
It's his, baby. Damn it.
I'm just saying, shit.
Y'all heard him. He's looking at me like, oh.
Man, they been apart for a long time. Shit.
She got pregnant on the other season when they had sex at the house. She ain't been with nobody but him.
Baby.
Hmm? No, her mama Steen made sure that she wasn't touched. Remember what made them have to run was that she cut that dude who tried to take it.
He already was sleeping with her.
No, he wasn't.
I swear.
Y'all leave it below. Y'all gonna have to put the answer to this argument, disagreement. Add that below. I don't believe she was fucking him before they made it to their house.
She did it willingly.
With him, with Noah?
No. Whatever white motherfucker.
No, she wasn't.
No, they name shit. They all look alike. Shit, I don't know.
Okay, we're going to move forward. This is why he cannot be on video.
I'm just saying,
I didn't ask him, but he would go housewife. She ain't been with nobody.
Man, I
the
swear.
dude tried to rape her, but she cut it.
He already got it before that. He was trying to go back.
Okay, y'all leave it below, because I'm going to have to go back and look at it.
Somebody tell me.
Leave it below. Anywho, Noah tells her all of that, and she still ain't said she pregnant. But it seems to me like what he's giving is that he's gonna go with her. And you see them in the horse and buggy.
Right there. I mean, he probably.
But now are they going to where they're gonna build the house? Are they going back?
Mama. You know what Roselee wanna do.
Now, girl, the chick whose husband got killed, she's going to go and hear Harriet.
What's her name at?
Who?
Harriet Tubman. Where's she at?
She's back where Roselee left. They about to meet up. The chick that the white woman that had her husband killed is gonna go and hear her speak.
She had her husband killed.
That her husband was killed. She didn't. They killed him. But she's going to hear her speak. And girl, little miss, I'm gonna pass and make it seem like I'm white, but I'm really not. But I'm passable. She tells her you need to go and hear her. But when they got caught on that road, y'all, that dude she got caught with, I believe he is along with, the other folks that's against him. I don't know. He seems like he's a spy or some shit. I don't know.
Probably is.
Y'all know I didn't go in any order, but I just wanted to share what I felt about this episode and give y'all the little pearls of wisdom. Not wisdom, but tell y'all about Jamestown a little bit and get into that.
What, Bougie?
And hopefully you all will, you know what I'm saying, go and find these things on your own. Come and tell me. Leave something in the comments below and tell me something. What?
Empire.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I got to look at it. So, anywho, y'all, I'm going to get off of here, honey, because I got to take... is that an ice pack in there in the freezer?
Baby, you know what's in there. Come on.
Okay. I'm going to put that ice pack on my damn arm and get this medicine, y'all, and get out. I hope y'all wasn't disappointed in this. This is what I felt to share with you all about tonight's episode. Okay? I will be back. I got to talk about the little hookers after I watch it. And apparently, something then went the fuck down because, honey, I already got an inbox saying, I need you to talk about this shit. So I got to see what the fuck then went down. Don't tell me in the comments. I got to go watch it. And I'm going to watch Empire or whatever. So I'm out, y'all. Leave your thoughts below. Answer the question on, this disagreement we having. Who's right? Leave it below. I'm out. Much love.